Imagine it's Christmas Eve. It's just after 6 in the morning. The street is still wrapped in darkness, your breath hanging in the air as mist while you hurry along the high street, coat buttoned tight, scarf pulled up. And there it is, the line outside the butcher's shop, 50 people long, every one of them waiting for the same thing, the turkey they ordered weeks earlier. This wasn't an ordinary day. This was Christmas Eve in 1970s Britain, the single day each year when the whole country moved in sync. Shops would close early and stay shut until the 27th. Last-minute fear blended with long-held tradition. Every family followed the same ritual. If you lived through it, you know this wasn't shopping, it was endurance. And somehow, it felt magical. The queue formed before dawn. By 7 o'clock, steam coated the butcher's windows. Inside, rows of plucked turkeys hung from hooks, huge ones, smaller ones, every single bird already spoken for. You'd put your name down back in November, paid a deposit, because without one, Christmas dinner might be chicken or nothing at all. The butcher knew everyone. Mrs. Davies, Mr. Williams, the Johnsons. He greeted each customer, vanished into the back, then returned carrying your turkey wrapped in thick brown paper. It was heavy, freezing cold, almost the weight of a small child. People stamped their feet, rubbed numb hands together, breath rising in white clouds. No one complained. This was Christmas Eve. This was how it was done. And besides, where else could you go? Inside, sawdust covered the floor. The smell of raw meat mixed with coal smoke from the stove. The butcher stood in his striped apron, stained but smiling. This was his biggest day of the year. He'd been working since 4 a.m., weighing birds, checking names, making sure everyone got exactly what they'd paid for. By 9, the final turkey was handed over. The door was locked. The high street went quiet, but the panic wasn't finished, not even close, because once the turkey was secured, there was everything else to buy: bread, milk, extra butter. All the forgotten essentials, and the clock was ticking. Woolworths was the final stop. By 10 o'clock, it was bursting at the seams, families scrambling for the last box of crackers. Children tugging sleeves, begging for one more selection box. The pick-and-mix counter surrounded, hands scooping chocolate limes, cola bottles, sherbet lemons into thin white bags until they tore open. Last-minute presents filled baskets. Handkerchiefs for Grandad, talcum powder for Nan, a tin of Quality Street for Boxing Day visits, nothing fancy, nothing expensive, just enough to show you'd remembered. The tills never stopped ringing. Coins clattered. Notes were counted. By midday, Woolworths closed its doors, lights switched off, the high street emptied, and Christmas officially began. The fear was real. Everything is shut. Those words haunted households every Christmas Eve. Once the shops closed, that was it. Christmas Day, Boxing Day, sometimes even the 27th. Bread was bought like rations for a siege. 6 loaves, 8 loaves, stacked in cupboards even though they'd be stale in days. Extra milk bottles lined the doorstep because the fridge couldn't hold them. Tins of everything. Beans, soup, peas, just in case. Running out wasn't an option. There was no late-night shop. No petrol station selling milk at midnight. If you forgot something, you managed without, or knocked on a neighbor's door and hoped they had spare condensed milk for the trifle. Back home, the real work began. The turkey, enormous and rock-solid, sat in the bath. The fridge was tiny, a small white box barely big enough for milk and leftovers, certainly not a 12-pound bird. Cold water trickled over it as it slowly thawed, very slowly. Your mum checked it hourly, pressing the skin, reaching inside, worrying. If it didn't defrost properly, Christmas dinner was ruined. There was no backup. The butcher was closed. The shops were shut. This turkey was everything. Then came the sprouts, mountains of them, green, hard as marbles. You sat at the table with a knife and a bowl, stripping leaves, cutting crosses into the base of each one. Your mum said it helped them cook. You suspected it was just punishment, but you did it anyway. On Christmas Eve, everyone helped. even if helping meant 2 hours with a pile of sprouts the size of a rugby ball. Next came the trifle. The big glass bowl emerged from the cupboard. Sponge fingers soaked in cherry. Tinned fruit cocktail scattered across, the cherries glowing unnaturally red. Jelly set on top, wobbling gently. Custard made from bird's powder and hot milk. Finally, whipped cream from a tin, finished with hundreds and thousands that would bleed color by morning. It looked incredible. It tasted like childhood. And it sat in the fridge, occupying the space the turkey should have had. Evening fell. The house smelled of preparation. Onions for stuffing, butter melting, mince pies baking. Some men never made it home straight away. They'd gone out earlier, just one quick pint. Early doors, they said. One became two, two became four. By the time they staggered back, the turkey was being checked and their wives were unimpressed. The pub was packed. Standing room only. Decorations from years earlier still hanging. Paper chains drooping. Old tinsel around the bottles. The fire blazing. The landlord pouring pints non-stop, ignoring the clock when closing time passed, because it was Christmas Eve and rules could bend. Later came the special drinks. Advocaat mixed with lemonade and lime, topped with a cherry, the snowball. Your mum sipped hers slowly by the fire. Your dad poured a sherry and pretended to enjoy it. Babacham waited nearby, along with Cinzano. Adults had posh drinks. Kids had lemonade, or if you were lucky, a tiny fizzy drink with a cherry, pretending to be grown-up. The TV flickered. Carols from King S on BBC One. A single boy's voice echoing through the chapel. When once in Royal David City began, conversation stopped. This was Christmas arriving. Later, a variety show. Safe, familiar, comforting. Mum wrapped the last presents. Dad circled programs in the radio times. The Queen at 3, Morecambe and Wise, the evening film. With only 3 channels, everyone watched together. Bedtime came early. Tomorrow was Christmas. The bath was finally free. The turkey removed, still slightly frozen, but close enough. You climbed into lukewarm water. The immersion heater had run out. You were last. Clean pajamas waited, new ones, slightly too big, stiff with the smell of plastic. At the foot of the bed sat a pillowcase, pinned with a safety pin, ready for Father Christmas. Downstairs, the final ritual, a mince pie, a glass of sherry, never milk, a carrot for the reindeer. You knew, of course you knew, but you played along because some traditions mattered. Kisses goodnight, heavy blankets, a freezing bedroom with ice forming on the window, too excited to care. Somewhere downstairs, floorboards creaked, paper rustled. You squeezed your eyes shut and waited. Outside, the street lay silent. No cars, no voices. Just orange streetlights and distant church bells calling people to midnight mass. Some families walked through the cold, damp coats packed into pews, candlelight, voices rising together. Others stayed home, one last turkey check, one last sip, then bed. Christmas Eve in 1970s Britain wasn't glamorous. It was cold, tiring, stressful, but it was ours. A shared experience, lived together. If you remember that butcher's queue or the smell of Woolworths at Christmas, then this was your Christmas Eve too. It wasn't perfect, and we wouldn't change it for anything. Drop a comment with your favorite Christmas Eve memory from the 70s. Subscribe to keep these stories alive. And until next time, hold those memories close.